All right, welcome to Build, everybody. I'm your host, Ricky Camilleri. From her first appearance on the silver screen as Tina in Do the Right Thing to White Men Can't Jump to recent stints on shows like Search Party and the hilarious Bounty Hunters, Rosie Perez has been one of the most distinct voices in movies and TV for quite some time. Now she plays a high school drama teacher up against a failing town, a distrusting principal, and the problems that normally come with teenagers on NBC's Rise. Let's take a look.
Oh my God, no. Robbie Thorne?
You saw him at the pep rally?
Yes, busting a rhyme.
He's got something special.
Yes, he does have something special. He could throw a football half a mile. Are you trying to poach Robbie Thorne during football season to put him in a musical? You're gonna get us all killed. Rule number 1, Mr. Mazzu.
Do not cast football.
Do not cast football.
Everybody, the great Rosie Perez. Let's hear it.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course, congratulations on the new show.
Thank
It's a fantastic show. I've caught the first couple episodes. We talked to Mr. Josh Radnor about it earlier today. How did you get involved?
My manager sent me the script halfway through. I was in tears and I called. I said, I'm in, this is mine.
Well, it's a story that's actually very dear to your heart, right?
Yeah. I co-founded a arts ed charity 25 years ago. We're still in effect. And what we do is that we service arts integrated curriculums to help students comprehend the academics at Title I schools, meaning public schools that are at or below the poverty line. And we work closely inside the school with the principal, the teachers, and the students. And for instance, the Regents exam in the tri-state area, you cannot graduate high school until you pass the Regents. And we've taken that core curriculum, broke it down into music, interactive games, and theater pieces. And students take that course who have recently failed the Regents 5, 6 times. They take a 3-week course and they pass. Wow. And so when I was reading the script Rise, I told the writer, Jason Katims, I said, this is spot on. It's spot on. Not only the storylines with the kids that are involved, but also the adults, because, bringing up a child is very, very difficult. Caring for a child as an educator is also difficult. And you get so invested with your kids, you bring their lives home with you, and they become part of your world.
Now, I know we're here to talk about Rise, and I want to talk about Rise, but I'm really interested in this arts education that you co-founded in 25 years ago. You said, How did you do that? Where did that come from? What made you want to do that? And how did you focus in on that specifically?
Well, the reason why I co-founded Urban Arts Partnership is because I was one of those kids. Just because I had an accent, I was of color, and I was a girl, when I was at predominantly all-white schools, I was ignored. I would raise my hand and I was completely ignored, and I had a bittersweet childhood, and there was a lot of anger issues that nobody was helping me deal with. And when I got into the entertainment industry, I said, I want to help those type of kids. And I started out with having kids go to businesses. I would take them to Sony Music. I would take them to Uptown Records, and I would take them to MTV. I would take them to Goldman Sachs and say, these are job opportunities that you can get if you buckle down and work really hard. And one of the students goes, but I need help with my homework. And so I partnered with Amy Pooks, and we created Urban Arts Partnership.
Now, you said that, growing up, you felt kind of ignored, and you had a lot of anger that when you got into the entertainment industry, and that just for some reason makes me immediately think of your dancing early on, and your dancing at the beginning of Do the Right Thing, and sort of the way that you attacked your performances so early on. Do you think a lot of that came from some of that anger that you had growing up?
No. Really? I was so happy. I was trying to get the dancing so perfect because they had changed the choreography at the last minute because they changed the song. The song originally for Do the Right Thing was supposed to be Cool Jerk. Cool Jerk, dun, 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 dun. And Spike said, this isn't working. He called Chuck D, said, I need a song. He created Fight the Power, and I only had a couple of days to work with the choreographer to come up with steps. So I was very, very nervous, and it was an 8-hour shoot.
Just doing that.
Of just doing it. And then by the end of the shoot, you know, first I was like trying to be sexy and then trying to be cute. You know, first I was like, by the end of the shoot, and Spike goes, okay, we got it. And he goes, that was great. I said, it's gonna look bad. I look so tired and angry. He goes, oh, that's what I wanted. I said, you could have told me that in the first hour. You know, what the heck?
I would have acted that.
I would have acted that. Yeah, so that's where that anger and frustration came from. I was pissed off at Spike.
Did you have when you got into the entertainment industry, did you have a somewhat type A drive in terms of how you were gonna make it? I mean, you started, your first appearances were dancing on Soul Train, right?
Yeah, but that was just for fun. I was a biochem major in college. Don't let the accent fool you, honey.
No, it doesn't. I didn't make any assumptions.
And so what happened was I was dancing at a nightclub, and the talent scout for Soul Train saw me and my girlfriends, and we were dressed like hoochie mamas too, so that helped. And and he said, you want to be on Soul Train? And we were like, oh my gosh, yes. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. We really didn't know what we were doing, and I wasn't used to dancing in those type of high heels that we had to be on camera with, and so. But
your dances were so powerful even then. They were so original and different than what everybody else was doing. Is that just because you didn't know what you were doing at the time?
I would say that was probably 5% of that, but also, you know, I was a big club kid in New York. And so I used to live in the clubs and dance and everything like that. So when I went to Los Angeles to go to school and was on Soul Train, they weren't privy to that kind of fierceness. So they were like, what the heck? You know, so, yeah, but a lot of the times when I was coming down and showing off down the line, it was like a joke to me and my girlfriends. And I didn't understand that millions of people were watching. And, you know, I couldn't go around to everyone and go, I was just having fun. I was being silly.
Well, wasn't Spike watching? And that was kind of one of his inspirations for the character in Do the Right Thing?
No.
God damn it. I got nothing.
No, he originally had something else in mind for Tina. And I believe the name was different, too. And then when he met me at a nightclub, we got into a fight. And then he asked me to...
To be a fly in the wall for a fight between Spike Lee and Rosie Perez sounds amazing.
It was.
Two very, very strong-minded people.
Yes, well, most of the time he just kept laughing at me, which kept making me so angry. And he kept saying, tonight is fate. And I was like, you wish. And that was it. And so he asked me to be in Do the Right Thing. And I thought, oh, it's over the summer, and then I could go back to my classes. I didn't take it seriously.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you take acting very seriously.
Very, very seriously. Yes, all thanks to Spike. So it's pretty awesome.
So having created the Urban Arts, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Urban Arts Partnership.
Thank you, the Urban Arts Partnership. What does it feel like to be able to sort of take what you know about that and bring it into this show?
It's very emotional, to be honest. There have been times, and Josh Radnor could tell you, where I would turn away because I get embarrassed by emotions, you know, and I would just start crying. And at first he goes, what's wrong? I go, I cannot believe this is happening. My two worlds are coming together. You know, I'm doing good and I'm acting at the same time, you know, because this show right here has such a powerful message in regards to the importance of the arts. You know, a lot of arts programs are underfunded in our public school system. And so it can really change a young person's life. And so when I'm delivering those type of lines on camera, it hits me in a very, very deep emotional place, and it's quite overwhelming. You know, the joy is a little bit too much for me at times.
Did the creator of the show, Jason Katims, know that you had sort of did this stuff in your private life?
No, not at all. Not at all. He didn't understand, and he kept saying to me, it's amazing how you relate so strongly to this and so strongly to the students. I said, well, that's because I'm good. But also, it's because I relate on such a different level, on a real, honest level. You know, because there are students in the charity at Urban Arts Partnership that I get so close to that I worry about, that I email them and I call them, how you doing? What's going on? You know, or I go and tell their teachers, don't pressure them too much. They're having a difficult time at home. And that's what my character does. So, and I told Jason Katims, how did you know? How did you get this just so right?
I love picturing the kid that gets a call at dinner and is like, Mom, sorry, it's Rosie Perez.
Well, most of the kids in the school, they, over 25 years, a lot of them, they would discover it as they would go on in the program. They were like, oh, we were watching, and we saw White Man Can't Jump. Were you in that? That was you, right, Miss Perez? I go, yeah. It's awkward, and then when Pineapple Express came out, forget about it. Then I was the bee's knees in regards to all the students and stuff. And so, so they slowly started to really understand what I did for a living.
So you said you were a biochem major. Were arts a big part of your childhood and in your life in high school, or was the arts something that you sort of found afterwards?
Well, initially, I was I was a ward of the state. I was in foster care, and I was in a Catholic home for a short while. And in the school, which was also public, the nuns would always put me on the stage, and I hated it. And like this one girl who I'm still friends with way back then, she said, I hated you. You were always the lead bunny. But I never wanted to be. And the nuns taught me how to tap dance and how to play baseball. And so that was my entree into the entertainment world. But I think that subconsciously I didn't want to pursue it because it was bittersweet. It was attached to like some really hardcore emotions. But I also was a geek. I was a nerd, and I just loved science, and I loved math and stuff. And so it wasn't until Spike Lee came around that everything came full circle. So it's pretty amazing.
Do you still find ways to stretch your math muscles and work on them at all? Do you do anything?
No.
Good for you. I wouldn't either.
Yeah, but
I'm also very bad at math.
Oh, you are?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, it's actually really easy if you think about it. But anyway,
if you think about it, I thought about it. It just still didn't get it.
Well, but to answer your question in full, I did have art programs in school because I was bused to predominantly white schools. And so I did have music, I did have band, I did have dance, I did have, art with drawing and painting. So I was privy to all of that where a lot of kids today are not. Yeah. And it opens you up in a very, very special way. And I remember one time we had a class trip and we went to Broadway and I saw The Wiz. And here's this, angry, introverted, weirdo girl. But I was still cute though. But anyway, sitting in the movie theater, and I saw Stephanie Mills on stage singing "When I Think of Home, I Think of a Place Where There's Love Overflowing," and the tears just came down, and so did the wall that I was building around me. It just came tumbling down, and it changed me as a person.
Yeah, you need those sort of transcendent moments.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
You have another show right now as well called Bounty Hunters,
yes.
right? On Sky One. Tell me about this show.
It's written by Jack Whitehall, and Freddie, and Jack is the star. And I'm his co-star, and I play this aging bounty hunter. And it really made me angry when they had in the character description, aging bounty hunter, who's on the run because I accidentally killed the cousin to the head of the Mexican drug cartel who's trying to kill me, kills the head of the drug cartel's son. So I'm on the run and I need a place to hide out, and Jack Whitehall hires me to find his dad and money. And then the series goes on, and it is the most ridiculous action comedy thriller you would ever watch. And I'm kicking ass. I'm in a very aging way, and it's just pure hilarity. It's fantastic. And Charity Wakefield is also in it, and we just have a blast. We have a good time, and we film in the UK, and we also film in Spain, which doubles as Mexico.
What's it like to be able to do this show, which is a completely different tone, I think it sounds like, from Bounty Hunters? What's it like to be able to do those two shows really at the same time? Separate times of the year.
No, it's during the same year. Yeah. It's just that I have like a month break. It's fun. It's fantastic, you know, because this is so deep and so moving and inspiring, and Bounty Hunters is just stupid. So, you know, and it's good, stupid fun. Yeah. And so it's a nice balance for me, you know, and I also love being able to get physical and do fight scenes and stunts like that. I just love doing all of that stuff.
Let's get some questions from our audience. Who has a question? Right there.
Hey, how's it going? I want to thank you for the amazing career that you had. I always had a big crush on you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. So, what kind of roles that you turned down to get to the career that you have right now?
Oh, a lot of negative, stereotypical roles I've turned down, and that's hard as a person of color because the opportunities are so few. And you know, there's a lot of times where I would say no and not work. And people would come up to me and say, hey, when are we going to see you next? I go, when there's a good role that comes my way. I just couldn't do it. I did it once, and my soul just crumbled. It just crumbled, and I said, I'll never do it again. And, you know, so that was really hard early on in my career, and things just started changing. They just started changing, and I got really good representation, and I said, listen, man, I want the Jessica Lange roles. And you know, I was like, I'm not saying I'm like all fly like her, but I could bring it too. Just get me in the room and I could get the job. And that's what happened, and it changed my career because I stood firm.
Can I ask what the role was that you...
No, I don't want to say.
Okay. I just want to...
Because there's other Latin actresses that took the role, and I don't want to kill them. You know what I mean? They got to work. Maybe they had a family to feed, and they had to do what they had to do. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to judge.
Yeah. Next question.
Hi, Rosie. It's a pleasure meeting you. I'm a big fan as well.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. I have a question. Was there ever a point in career where you felt like you had to mask, you know, the fact that you were Latina, that you were from, you know, urban, you know, inner city? Was there ever a point in your career where you felt like you had to mask it? And when was the aha moment that you just clicked for you and you were like, you know what, I'm just going to be myself?
That was from day one. I'm just going to be myself because the role dictated that. So there have been times where I've done roles that you don't know what type of ethnicity my character is. And if the role dictates that, then that's what I will deliver. If it doesn't dictate a specific ethnicity or race or nationality, I am going to bring Puerto Rico up in there big time because there's such little representation of Latinos in Hollywood. So what I decided to do was just be honest and bring the realness, not bring something that was fake or what have you. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. But I mean, now it's not tough for me. I would say in the beginning it was tough for me, but I know a lot of young Latin actors, it's very tough for them still now. You know, even now. But I think that Hollywood is waking up. I mean, with the success of Jane the Virgin and Superstore and Black Panther, I think that they're starting to listen. Girls Trip, you know, they really are. And I mean, and these, when you see Rise, you're going to see that. You're going to see the colors of the rainbow. And what you're going to see, even though it represents, you know, such a vast diversity in regards to the cast, you're just going to see human beings, you know, and that's fantastic, you know?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more. Who do we got right here? You.
Hi, how are you?
Hello. Brooklyn!
Yeah. I was just looking online. I think we have the same birthday. But,
When's your birthday?
September 6th.
Yeah, okay. That's not my real birthday, but
oh, okay.
I'm glad we got the same birthday. Yeah, wink, wink. Maybe. Yeah, happy birthday.
Anyway, I noticed like there's a lot of young people in the cast, some maybe like up-and-comers. I was wondering what your interaction with them was like. Did you feel like you were like a mentor or helping them at all? Did you give them advice on set at all?
I only offered advice if they asked. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to insult them. And even though they're playing high school students, they're young adults. And some of them have had other jobs, and some of them are just completely new to this arena. But, you know, they did start asking me slowly for advice. And the number one advice I told them was save your money and buy real estate. Seriously, right? You know what I'm talking about. And yeah, and the next piece of advice I gave them was come prepared. Be prepared. Study your craft and come prepared. You don't want to waste your time, and you definitely don't want to waste my time. And the last piece of advice I offered them was just be nice. It goes a long way. People remember that. You know what I mean? And you know, I don't like people being mean to me, so I'm not going to be mean to others. And especially in the entertainment industry, where actors are so disposable, you want to have a good impression. You want to leave a good impression. I mean, so yeah. But they're great. Our Li'i, when she opens her voice, oh my gosh, that's the girl that from Moana, and Damon, his voice is amazing. They're all amazing. Ramya and Amy, they're just fantastic. And the adults in this are first class. You know, because they also deal with the adults' storylines as well about how hard it is to raise a kid.
Rosie, congratulations on the show. I love it. It's on NBC. What, Thursday, Wednesday nights?
No, well, it's gonna premiere Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights. Thank you.
Right after This Is Us, and then we're gonna slip into This Is Us time slot on NBC. I know, it's not good.
How can people see Bounty Hunters?
Bounty Hunters, you can go to Sky UK, or I believe it's now available online. Yeah, you can get the DVDs online, and that is just a fun-filled ride. Bounty Hunters, I love it.
Everybody, the wonderful Rosie Perez. Let's hear it.
Thank you.